Hello and welcome back to the channel this week. Today's episode is going to be all about discovering whether or not some lenses resolve 40 megapixels. Right after the break, we're going to get into it. So right off the bat, I noticed that Fuji had published lenses that were good for this 40 megapixel sensor in the XH2 and the XT5. And I noticed some lenses that I dearly love were not on that list. So today we're going to go through 3 lenses, but 2 of the lenses are not on the list and 1 is. And we're going to compare things a little bit. But my 16 to 80, a lens I use all the time, is not on that list. And a lens I really love, the 16-1.4, is not on that list for some strange reason. Now, I'm not an extreme pixel peeper by any stretch. Let's get into it right now. I'm pretty sure that we're going to see some interesting things. Okay, so for today's test, I'm testing out the 16 to 80, which is my most used lens, and then I'm testing out the 16-1.4 because it's also one of my most used lenses, and quite honestly, I don't understand why a lens of such high quality wouldn't be included on this list of recommended lenses for 40 megapixels, resolving 40 megapixels. Now, I also threw in a lens here that is recommended, and that's the 23f2. And you're going to see some differences here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the images with the 16 to 80 first, and then I'm going to show you the images shot with the 16 and the 23. And I'm going to compare them with the 16 to 80. I mean, it's kind of an unfair comparison because, you know, prime lens versus zoom lens, so they shouldn't be, I mean, the prime lens should be sharper and resolve better anyway, but it's just for giggles. We're going to show you what I see here on the screen. We're not going to pixel peep. I'm not going to go up to 200% and dive right into it because you can see the difference right here on the screen at 100%. So here we go. All right, the first image here is with the 16, excuse me, this is with the 16 to 80 shot at 16. And you can tell, I mean, it looks pretty nice as it is, just like this. But if we blow this up to 100%, we're gonna go the outside circle of confusion here. We're gonna take a look and see what the edges look like at 100%. And you can see that this whole edge right here is definitely a little bit on the soft side, which is disappointing, but you know, in real world photography, you're probably never even gonna see it. I mean, if you're a landscape person that is really, really on top of what's edge-to-edge sharpness, maybe this is not the lens for you, I don't know. But you can see that around the edges at 16, this, you can see up here, this fin tail here is it's just on a little bit soft side at 100%. Now, it's really disappointing that, you know, Fuji is selling this as a kit lens with the XT5 and the XH2. That's kind of disappointing that they go through that process. But all right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you it at 23, or it's actually at 22.3. And let's see where that is. All right, so this is at 22.3 with the 16 to 80, and we're going to blow it up to 100% again. So this is at a 35 millimeter equivalent full frame. And we're going to go back out to the edge here, and you can see that it's looking a little bit soft on the edges, which is a darn shame. And I didn't test the 18 to 55, but I can only imagine that it can't be much better. So it's pretty bad. You know, I'm a little disappointed, but you know, down here it's still looking a little bit sharp, but I can, you know, just the edges of this. Now, I purposely did not shoot it at 80 because if it's like this at 16 and 23, it's probably worse at 80. So I didn't want to look at it. All right, so let's go back in here and we're going to look at the 16-1.4, and why this lens is not included in the recommended lenses blows me away. Fuji must have a reason for it, but probably because they're going to, more than likely it's because they're going to replace this lens, I would think. But this is a beautiful lens. I love this lens. Now, this is, you know, to fit on the screen here, but this is not the right one. All right, blow this up to 100%, and it just looks sharp all the way around. Maybe just a little bit, but I can't tell. I'm old and my eyes aren't that great, but I'm telling you, this looks pretty darn sharp to me all the way around. This is at 5.6. All these were shot at 5.6. This one looks like it might be a little bit out here in the corner, but boy, wow. I don't get it. I think it should be included. All right, let's go out to the 35 or 23 f2. Blow this one up, and it looks. This is the one that's recommended by Fuji, and it's sharp all the way around. You can't tell. I mean, it resolves this sensor beautifully. And this is not a brand new lens by any stretch. This is an older lens. It's one of the Fujicron series, and it's beautiful all the way around. You can't beat it. Now, this is one of the lenses that I love to use with the X-T5 just as a walk-around lens, so I'm happy about this. It's pretty nice. So, to be honest with you, in conclusion here, yeah, the 16-80 is probably not as doesn't have the resolving power. It, you know, maybe at 30 megapixels or whatever it is. I don't know how you determine that, but that's only 4 megapixels larger than the 26 on the X-T3. But to be honest with you, I'm going to still use my 16-80 until they replace it, which is, you know, it's coming. It's going to be a 16-80 version 2, because all of their cameras are going to be this 40 megapixel sensor, which is great. Just means I'm going to have to upgrade that 16-80. So just for giggles, I want to compare the 16-80 and the 16. I know it's not a fair comparison, but I just wanted you guys to see the difference between a lens that resolves and a lens that doesn't resolve. So let's take a look at the 16-80 and the 16-1.4 right here. And now these are at 100%, okay? And the area that I'm going to be looking at is right here, this area right here around this fin. And you can see, look how soft that is right there. And look how sharp it is over here, the right-hand side one, which is the 16-1.4. There's a hell of a difference. But, you know, there should be. But it shouldn't be as pronounced. Let me put it that way. On the 26 megapixel camera, the X-T3 and the X-T4, it's not as pronounced. So let's go to the 23 versions here. Okay. So on the left-hand side, we're going to see this is at 100% again. This is the 23 millimeters on the 16-80, and this is the 23 f2. Now, look at this over here. It's just really out. And then this lens here, the 23 f2, is supposed to be one of the recommended lenses, and it's beautiful. This is one of the lenses that I use quite a bit just for my out and about shooting, because I love the 35 millimeter full frame equivalent, and it's sharp as a tack. And I've always said that this lens is great. And some of the pixel peepers out there don't like it, but I love it. Now look down at the bottom here. Here's the cracks in this bench, and look how much better they're resolved down here. So thanks for watching today's episode. We tried to discover what Fuji was thinking when they offered as kits two lenses that are not on their recommended list. I'm not really sure what they were doing. Well, maybe just to get some of them off the shelves. Maybe, I don't know. So that's it for this week. And if you wouldn't mind, please, and thank you so much for watching, by the way. If you wouldn't mind, please give me a like, subscribe, comment, and all that. That would be great. So remember, it's not what you photograph, it's how do you photograph it, and we'll catch you next time.